Hi, Hanging with the Joneses, episode 18. I am Rashad.
And I'm Kesha.
And today we want to talk about something that affects all parents with kids. And that's back to school. Especially now, because, unless you live in Georgia or somewhere weird or go to some sort of private school, or New York, your kids are not going to be in a traditional school. So, we just want to talk about some of the things that go along with that, as well as just like how we as parents need to make sure that we aren't, how can I put this, that we are actually letting them be the kids and we be the parents. All right? So there was a topic that we touched on last week where we talked about how we can potentially parent out of guilt. Also, we talked about how we have issues with being a helicopter parent. Also talked about how we can't separate ourselves from being a parent and we're actually individuals in our own selves. So just want to kind of really wanted to delve into that today and, really discuss that because I felt like that in and of itself was its own topic. So if you missed last week's episode, go back and watch it. I don't know why you wouldn't. So definitely go back and listen and watch that. Again, Hang with the Joneses on YouTube, anywhere you get podcasts, of course, Apple Podcasts. Like, share, subscribe. So when it comes to being a parent, Trakisha, yeah, I know. And because, you are a therapist and you do this on a daily. What is the hardest part you see just like, when it comes to people trying to parent and have kids in school? Like, what's the hardest part of this for you see?
With parenting, I would say the hardest part you see, some parents who, if they have kids who have troubles, who are like, fix them and bring them back. Like, wow. Don't want to engage in treatments, like, fix something wrong with them. They messing up our family unit. Fix them and coming back. So when you're trying to engage them in treatment, a lot of times it's not successful because sometimes the parents don't want to participate. See helicopter moms, where they doing so much for the child. It's like, you have to back up. Like, let the child breathe. You're choking them. Which I admit, I'm a helicopter. I've gotten better. And then you see parents parenting out of guilt. Because they felt that they didn't do something right. They have to make it up. And it could be that because your father's not in your life, I feel bad about it. So I'm going to try to overcompensate for being mommy and daddy.
So, and let's use that scenario because that's like unfortunately, very common scenario. What does that look like, and how do you try to remedy that?
One is, and always step one, is to acknowledge your parenting out of guilt. Because sometimes you don't know. You really don't know. And parenting out of guilt can allow the child to really manipulate you. Because you feel like, I did something wrong to create this behavior or whatever. I need to make it right. Which allows you be the scapegoat. And we can come almost disable the child because everything is, my parents would take care of it, or my mother would take care of it, my father would take care, and you find yourself in that role where you're trying to take care of everything. In return, your child is not learning anything.
Yeah.
No, I mean, basic living skills, don't know because as a parent, maybe parenting out of guilt, you took the ownership for it.
True, very true. So, if we were to, okay, so at what point do you think we were ever parenting out of guilt, or do you think we parent out of guilt?
No, I don't think I never thought we parent out of guilt. I think for me, I was a helicopter mom because growing up in New York, I've seen a lot of things, and that's stuff that, and I talk about this all the time with my friends. Some of the things, you have seen and been through as a child, you don't want your children to. However, I forget that those things did make me who I am and stronger and helped me to survive in life. Like, for instance, I had, when I was doing in-home counseling, going to people's homes and doing counseling in their home. It was a situation, I parked the car and the Holy Spirit speaking to me saying, get out the car. I'm like, no, I'm tired. I don't feel like, I'm wrestling back and forth and I'm hearing get out the car. I'm like, no, I'm wrestling. I was like, okay, I'm going to get out the car and help the client to the door. Soon as we get out the car, they start shooting around my car. But the thing is, I wasn't scared. I immediately came up with a plan. It's like, okay, I'm going to go run out in the middle of the street so if I get hit by a bullet, I can fall somewhere and somebody's going to have to stop and help me. And when I talked to my mother, at first I was really tearful about that. It's like, Mom, I wasn't scared. In my mind, I already came up with a plan. And my mother said, what she said made me think different. She said, you better thank God that you came up with that plan because you don't know if you'll survive it. And I was like, that, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't think, because I'm looking like, I told her, being that I've been in this situation so many times as I'm younger, I felt bad that I was in a situation, and now to me it's almost second nature. Fear wasn't even there. It was like, okay, boom, let's come up with a plan so this will happen, and even prepare to get shot. And I was just like, that is crazy to me. But when my mother said, shoot, not that I'm sure my parents didn't want me in that situation. My father probably don't know about the situation until now. He's been watching this video. But because of that, I knew how to handle myself in that situation. Hopefully, but I try to shield my children. I never want them to experience that. But what happened then in the situation? I don't know if I have any confidence that they're able to make it out.
Wow. And
it's because I shield them. Like, no one wants to dream of their child being in a situation where there might be gunplay. Like, you don't mean
no,
like...
that's not like, I can't wait to the first time they get into
a
hell of gunfire. No, that should not be a goal. Right. So
it's caused me to be like a helicopter mom. Yeah. I need to be here because I know that I can get you out because of things I've seen and been through. I can get you out. But instead, what I'm doing is like smothering them, and they're not learning anything. Like, my daughter is a certain age, and I'm nervous when she goes to the store that's around the corner. By the time I was her age, I was traveling on the trains in New York, uptown, downtown, and I'm like, it has to. Part of it is like, because of what I've been through, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go there. And part of it, some of it's her maturity too. But that's definitely parenting out of being a helicopter mom. Parenting out of trauma, I guess you would say.
Or even more accurate, is parenting out of fear.
Out of fear, yeah.
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 And that's kind of a very simple thing that I think we don't really take into account, that how we feel about certain things dictates how our children feel about those things as well.
Yeah. And it's I know it's not good. And I said this in the video before. If my children on the monkey bars or somewhere, I'm literally like, wait, huh? Like, literally, it's not, am I correct?
Unfortunately,
I'm
not.
like, and Rashad's like, let them go. I'm like, but what happens if they fall? If they fall, they might hurt something. They're going to, and it's like, well, what if they don't fall? Automatically, I'm trying to, if we go to a park, you got to be in the eye shot of me. And it's like, I know some of it's like, I'm like, this sex trafficking going on. I don't want you going far. And I'm calling you, and there's someone that took you up. I'm serious. That's what's going on in my mind. So, like you say, parenting out of fear, anxiety, trauma, helicopter parent, and title you want to give it. But my child is at the age where she's about to start driving.
Yeah.
And that is I'm breathing and swallowing really hard. I'm really doing some really deep breaths from to my toes. Because I'm like, that is scary. Not only she's going to be in the car, gone. It is, but I'm gonna let her do it. I got to. I can't.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I can't parent. I can't hold her back, and then she's not equipped for anything in life because.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it, because like with me, of course, like just like any good marriage, just like any good relationship, there's got to be some opposites, because I don't. That's not how I operate at all. So my thing is, if you're gonna fall, fall. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna mess up, I gotta allow you to mess up, and that was one of my goals for the year, to allow my children the space to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I like, you have to, like, you have to let them be in a place where they can do the dumb thing, learn from the dumb thing, and then keep it moving. And that's when, even when we're not in their sight, so they got to do the dumb thing outside on their own. You know what I'm saying? Learn from that, and then be able to say, oh, I can't do that anymore. I can't do it like that.
It's like in fear, anxiety. I mean, acknowledge it. The dumb thing might be the last thing really hurt them. That's what goes through my mind. So when I was their age, I was bringing my siblings and my cousin. We walking home from school from New York. I was allowed to cook at home. I had the key and open up. And I'm just like, wow, I did so much at my age, when I was my daughter's age. And I'm looking back at how much that taught me, and I'm not giving her that same opportunity.
Yeah, and another thing too, I think that you kind of miss, and a lot of parents miss, is that you were allowed to do those things.
I was.
You know what
but
I'm
I
saying?
was also mature.
Aside from that, you were still at least given enough latitude to mess up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that kind of goes into even like how we got to transition back into school, and how it's going to be different. You're going to have to give your kids enough time to actually adjust. Mm-hmm. Because it's going to be so different, and kids may not have great grades initially. Your children may be very frustrated and not. And,
we may be very frustrated.
You as a parents, y'all gonna be. I mean, shoot, y'all was already frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Trying to help your kids do math and English, and y'all can't talk. So it's all those things kind of culminate into you as an individual having to make sure that you can separate yourself from, like me being Rashad the parent, from me being Rashad the individual. That's so important, because my role as a father is very different from my role as a husband, my role as a friend, or just who I am when I'm by myself. Mm-hmm. Like, people say, like, I'm the same everywhere all the time. So I'm like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, I can't be this. You cannot realistically be the same in all situations.
Well, with that, I kind of wrestle with that.
I mean, come on now, like,
because
I can't talk to you the same way I talk to my friends. I can't be this. I can, like, the essence of who I am is Rashad, but there's certain things I know I'm not going to do or I'm not going to say.
But
like,
then
it doesn't make sense.
You look at too, but then this going off topic about parenting, but wearing the mask then, because if we feel like, if you gotta go here and kind of morph into a different person or present yourself a certain way, it's kind of like, why the way God made you is the way God made you. You should be you in that every situation. I'm
not talking about morphing or change. I'm talking about how certain things I know I'm not going to do, or I'm not going to say, because it's not appropriate.
Because like you see some people at work and you like,
oh yeah, I'm not talking about being
that's a complete one.
No, I'm not talking about being phony out here. I'm talking about just like, it's not, because Rashad, the friend to other grown men, it's not. I can't be that to my daughter who's 5. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like, that doesn't make sense.
That's appropriate. Okay, I thought you were talking about something
I'm not talking
different.
about, like, I gotta be out here, be one way this way, be one way that way. No, I'm talking about just making sure that the who I am at the time is appropriate for my surroundings and settings.
Like in work, you like professional, and then on the weekend you like, oh, we're out there.
No, that's how they be anyway. You know what I'm saying?
You know me. But you know me, and not to say you supposed to act like that at work. I don't want to misinterpret my words. Not to say you act like that, but who you are should be who you are, and it shouldn't change that drastic. Where someone who know you like, who's this?
Yeah, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay,
Like,
I got what you're saying.
yeah.
That's appropriate. You can't talk to a the relationship I have with my 5-year-old is not the same relationship I have with my soon to be 16-year-old. Okay,
Exactly. That's what I'm
it.
saying. Because if you're always, because if you live in this parental role all the time, then you see everything out the lens of a parent. And I think sometimes that kind of, especially when it comes to you being a helicopter parent, that kind of gets you like kind of like in that ball of that realm of fear, because you can't see yourself as a 15-year-old anymore. You can't see yourself messing up. Because everything, especially when you talk, it's always from a very strength perspective. Like, oh, I did this so greatly. I was amazing at this. Like, fam, but you were still 15. And you were still young and dumb out in the streets doing dumb stuff.
Oh, true.
You know what I'm saying? So there has to be some sort of give and take.
Yeah, but also, on top of that, I am a helicopter mom. Hello, my name's Kesha. I'm a helicopter mom. But also the maturity level. It has to be some maturity level. You know, because even though I did I was still a 15-year-old kid. If you told me at 15, Kesha, go to the store, jump 3 times and come back, that's what I did.
Yeah, and that aspect of it, like, I do understand. So that's why it's not a whole lot of like pushback from what I'm saying. I'm just talking about in very in generalities right now.
And I'm going a little off track, but not really. When we first had the children, I think that's when we became parents, and no longer Rashad and Kesha marriage, Rashad and the Kesha individual. I think we became parents because I shared this story before. I never thought I would have children. So the fact that I was able to have a child, and I'm seeing the likeness, well, it really look like him, but I know it came out my body, even though it looked like me. It was just like, oh my gosh, I was just really at amazed that it happened. I was able to happen. So I think we became so like enmeshed with her.
Yeah.
Because even like my grandmother was like, don't make her no God. She ain't your God. She ain't your God.
Like, cool out, yo.
And then even when having sex, because everything, I remember when my grandmother passed away and it was close to my birthday. It was Madison's first birthday.
Yeah.
And it was, so I was like, let's throw her a little party while we here. And everyone was like, how about you? And I was like, I don't matter. It didn't matter to me. And I was like, I don't matter. And they was like, oh no, you matter, because if it wasn't for you, you wouldn't have those children. And also I was dealing with grief. You know, my grandma like literally just died around my birthday. But just, it became that it was like, and my second daughter and I have the same birthday. But it came like, I don't matter. It don't matter. Whatever they need. I'm here to provide whatever they need. Now, I'm looking back like, no, Kesha, I'm Kesha. But before, and it could be stuff like, this is not true. This is an example. Not true. I can have one pair of shoes with a big hole in it, and they can have 50 million pairs of whatever shoes they want. I would not give me another pair of shoes because they say they want another pair of Jordans.
Yeah, and it'll be like this like, again, parenting out of, and I don't even know what that is. It just didn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. Like the tearing away of oneself to build up somebody else will inevitably end in everybody being torn down. Mm-hmm. Because if I'm not building myself and building other people around me, then nobody's really being built. Mm-hmm. Because what you're building, because the foundation that you're building the other person on isn't even realistic. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This goes back to the whole thing about when you're not letting your child mess up and giving them the mm-hmm. tools to know, like, I did this right, I can't do this again. It's the same way, because like if they don't see dad, they don't see mom or somebody representing those, if it's either in a single parent household or whoever is raising your kids, taking care of themselves, then they'll end up mimicking the same behavior later on. Like it's so it's so clear because there's some things that I do that my dad has done, and I'm like, man, I ain't even realized like I was out here doing this. And so you sit back and you recollect, and then you start to have
Or your kids mimic.
or your kids do it too, and then you start to have conversations with these, hopefully with these parental figures, and realize that like you ain't really that different, you know, and some of these things are just genetics. Like it's gonna come out. Like it does not matter.
Right? Because some stuff I said, my best friend was like, if you don't sound like your mama, and I was like, I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Some things are the same, but some things I am my mother and father's child.
Yeah, like I can't lie. You can't escape it. So we have to look at some of those past examples, albeit good or bad, to kind of shape how we operate.
You know what? And you know when I really kind of grabbed that concept, when we was having our third child, I gained the most weight with the third child, and it was to the point like I literally couldn't look over like this and see anything below, and it was like I was in my like second trimester. I was like, I am huge. I never got this big. So I always say stuff like in front of them, I am so fat, I'm so huge. And then I realized, and then the second child was said, Mom, why do you keep saying that about yourself? Why do you feel that way? And I was like, oh man, look at what I'm teaching them. And she was young, and I'm like, oh, I am teaching her. Yeah, she was like 4. I was like, I'm teaching her that, one, when you get pregnant, to devalue your body. And 2, just to devalue your body anyway, not to accept who you are. And that's why I was like, I gotta take care. Like, I gotta watch the words I say about her mother, me, i.e. me.
Yep.
Because when she told me, she was like, why you keep saying that? You have a baby, Mom. What did you expect to have? And she's like 4. I'm like,
what did I expect to happen?
Right. Right. But I was just like, I gotta be careful. And even every time I had a child, something medical happens to me. Like, every time I have a child, like, something happens. Like, first child, I lost my tooth. Second child, my gallbladder. Third child, something else happened. And I was just talking, I said, Dad, every time I have one of these kids, something happens. They take havoc on my body. And the last time something happened, someone asked me, like, what happened? And my second child said, oh, I did it. It's happened because she had me. I felt like if I could have cried, I was like, so, you know me? I was like, I gotta be careful.
Because even though, listening, huh?
Right, and even though as 2 adults, you understand you don't mean like your child did it.
They don't care.
As a child, I felt so bad. Oh my, I felt so bad. And I had to explain, but that was a self-check for me. I was like, okay, no, this didn't happen because of you. You were a blessing. Honestly, it happened because my body. It wasn't you. It was just my body. And I can't say that if I wasn't pregnant with you at the time, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But I had to reframe it. And I didn't know if they took it like that. And they was like, I did that to her. Yeah, she had me, and it caused this, that. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. And that made me parent out of guilt a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what you want to go eat? Come on.
Yeah.
What you want? You want some sneakers? Come on.
Yeah.
And going back with Desiree, my oldest, because we were so surprised that I conceived, we spoiled her. And that was parenting out of, I don't know, just say guilt. My grandma said I treat her like she was a god. Like, we treated her like she was a god. And then she had all these ailments too. So it was like, oh no, my baby. But like, we used to go in the store and she pointed out a sneaker, we buying it. It didn't matter if that was the 10th, 50th, 60th pair. It didn't matter that she would only be in these sneakers for a month, not maybe hopefully that long. And she said, I want those. Okay. And I'm just like, and so when we had the other children, it made it hard for her to adjust. It made the transition for us really hard because we couldn't do that anymore because we have another child.
Sure. Especially, 2009? Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
So we couldn't do that anymore.
Oh nah, it was.
No, it's not just you anymore. So it was still doing that out of parenting. I don't know what you call that, parenting out of being amazed. I don't know. It wasn't guilt, but it was
Nah.
almost like she was this rare piece.
Yeah, it was like sort of like wonderment. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
like you're just astonished as you even hear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's I don't know if we can
No,
call it
I don't know what
parenting
that
out of
is.
astonishment. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like it was, we definitely did that for a while.
I feel like in the Lion King, you know, when they have
Yeah,
Simba,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it was like,
yeah.
present to you.
Yeah, all this will be yours.
Yeah.
So like it's crazy, man. I had, and even then, like the shift, the shifts that we made from just being individuals to being a couple to being parents, and then having to kind of go all the way back around to being individuals is like, I saw how my dad operated, and for a while I was like, yo, fam is selfish. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude really be thinking about us. And then like it took me to be a parent for a couple years to realize how much he was just really trying to stay and keep his head above water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it can be super hard to just, manage the day.
But even look at that as a child, seeing a parent do something for themselves, it was considered they being selfish. But they was living healthy. That's what's healthy.
Or trying to, at least.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, like.
Because we get that from our children.
Yeah.
Like, promise you, we can go out to eat. We can tell our children, pick anything off the menu. Anything. They pick what they want. We can pick a corner of a slither or something. It was like, so you ain't gonna offer me none? What? We literally gave you the whole menu. So now that you say it, bring up, because our kids have the same thing. They see that we get something. Oh, you ain't gonna buy me anything? But we did that.
Yeah, and then
I did that.
Yeah, thank you for being honest. I wasn't gonna put you out there. I really wasn't, Kesha. Like,
the way I'm reared is, if you buy something for you, you buy something for all your children. That's how I'm real. So if I buy a shirt for me, everybody's getting a shirt or something. The hard part is, if they see me doing anything for myself, it's what about me?
Yeah, and I wasn't real like that. Mm-hmm. I was real, especially like when I realized how money works. It was whoever had the necessity was provided for, and with dealing with you and how you thought, it was really hard to even get to some sort of like compromise on that.
Yeah.
Because like early on, you wasn't compromising on none of those things. You know
when
what
it
I'm
came
saying?
to my babies,
So like it's like, yo, like this don't even
like if I'm eating steak and lobster, we all eat steak and lobster.
I'm like, yo, this baby don't even want to eat this.
Yeah.
She want nuggets. You know what I'm saying? Like, give her the nuggets and the fries.
They're allergic to it.
Yes, it's a stupid decision. You just want to eat it for yourself.
Oh my god! And I, if I could go back, that'd be one thing I would change, because Rashad, every time I ate something, they ate, and Rashad said, "Stop doing that, because they're gonna associate. You're not gonna have a chance. Oh, I'll let them eat out my plate." And he said, "You better stop that, because when they get older, you're not gonna like it, and they're gonna continue it." Sure enough, I still got 3 kids. If I'm eating, they're sitting around me. I'm like, you all literally have the same thing. Can I have some of yours? And I used to do that to my mother, so I know how my mother feels. And I was thinking, like, what? I just want some of yours, right? And that's parenting.
Yeah.
Parenting. We did better by the 3rd child. I got it. You got it. It wasn't just me out here.
Yeah.
You were so Rashad was so protective of the children, like you couldn't look and breathe on them.
Nah.
You couldn't breathe in the direction. I was like, Rashad.
Now, especially with the oldest, because like again, her having all those like asthmatic and skin issues, I was like, yo, like don't be trying to touch my kid, yo. Like, and I would be very upset and very mad And I just, and I was fine with it. Like
To the extreme.
Yeah, like, oh, you want to be stupid about this? Well, I'm just gonna be an extra jerk about it.
So he used to put her. I wasn't allowed when we went out. I wasn't allowed to carry her.
Nah, cause you be too loose.
I'll be too loose. I let people look at her. That was the loosening. So he used to put her on the little chest thing. Yeah, the snuggly. And put her inside of his coat and zip it up. The only thing you can see was like this. And then try to have a little blanket over her face. I'm like, what do you think this is, Michael Jackson Kids? Like, why are you putting a blanket over? He didn't want anyone to even look at her like, this is mine. This is my baby. This ain't. And he would say, this is my baby. I was like, Rashad, this is ridiculous.
But I mean, like in my mind, like I was so right. I was so right in my mind.
It was extreme.
It was.
When time the 31 came, you were still tight, but you was a little. People can look.
Yeah, I wasn't as like, cause I don't know. And then I also felt because we were so young, people thought they could just handle us any old kind of way.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
And like I would be in stores and people like, oh, are you babysitting? No, this is my child. Oh, for real? Can I see? And then when they see like how young I am in his mind, then they think that they can be like some sort of like pseudo honor uncle or parent. All of a sudden, I'm like, bro, I don't know you. No, you lady. You know your hands been. No, you can not. Here you go. Bye.
And maybe talk about this colorism with them. I got when they see me out, that can't be your child because you're so dark.
Cause all of them was super like coming out the womb. You know what I'm saying?
And I used to get who child? Mine. You so dark. So it's mine. Maybe talk about next week colorisms and the kind of experience we had to talk with them about color.
Yeah, we could, even how the Negroes approach other Negroes.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think we had a good stopping point. Mm-hmm. So just to wrap up, today we talked about
not losing yourself.
Yeah, not losing yourself in being a parent, and make sure you remain an individual.
And people don't think of this. A helicopter mom is the same as you get the same behavior as a parent who's neglectful, or a parent who's not there.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowing them to breathe. It's kind of like it is that you have a animal and you just hug them so much that you smother them.
Yeah. Or either that you have like the animal that should be like out in the wild and they're just in a cage. Mm-hmm. No one can do but so much.
Yeah.
That's a tiger. Gotta let it loose.
So wrap it up to say you have to have a balance.
Yeah.
Have to be balanced.
Balance sucks.
It's hard. That's
hard.
everyone's journey in life. Is to get to a place where that balance. And even if you're balanced in one area, you're not in another area.
Yeah. Balance sucks.
All right. So see you next week.
Yeah, hang with the Joneses. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I mean, definitely, we need some more numbers. I mean, because it looks better, especially on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, just if you see it, subscribe. Hit the bell. Be a friend. Let other people know all that good stuff, man. We appreciate y'all guys' support. Until next week. Peace.